Hi everyone, this is Terry from Technique Tuesday, and I'd like to show you our steel die. This is the torn spiral edge die, and I'd like to show you how this die works. If you like the look of notebook paper, you're sure going to like this die. This is the die here. You'll notice the die is 6 inches, and on one side it's straight, and on the other side there are little circles, and these simulate tears. So let me show you how it works. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a piece of cardstock, and then I'm going to set the die on it. Now, I find I want the die to stay nice and level as I use the die, so I always add a little bit of washi tape just to hold it in place as I run it through my die cutting machine. If you don't have any washi tape, little painter's tape works well too. Alright, so now that I've got it taped, we're going to run it through the die cutting machine. Now, when I use a die cutting machine, I find it's really helpful to use a metal shim, especially with dies that have a little more intricate cut. So what you do with the metal shim is you place the metal shim onto your plate, and then you'll put a cutting plate on top of it. Then you'll put the paper you want to cut, and then you'll put the other cutting plate on top. At least that's what I do with my Big Shot machine. If you have a different machine, be sure to check with the manufacturer to find out exactly what their sandwich is for using a metal shim with it. Okay, so now I'm going to just run this through the die cutting machine. And now that I've run it through the machine, I'm going to have a nice cut. So let's remove the die, and there you go. So there's a really cool piece of notebook paper, or notebook looking paper, and then you've also got this little leftover piece. I like to say this, normally I'd throw it out, but I think the pattern's kind of cool and I might want to use it on a future project, so I'm just going to save that. So the cool thing about the torn spiral edge die is that you can take any piece of paper up to 6 inches and place that die on it and give it that torn spiral edge look. So all of these pieces of paper here, I cut down, made them small, and then I used the die on it. So you'll see some of the cuts are at the top and some are at the sides. Now, because this die was designed by a couple folks who are scrapbookers and card makers, it is purposely 6 inches long. That means you can actually cut a piece of 12 inches long, or a 12-inch long piece of cardstock or paper with it. So let me show you how that works. So I've cut the strip of paper to be 12 inches, and I'm going to set the die on it. And again, I'm going to use that washi tape, and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. So I've run it through my machine, and now I'm going to move the die, and I'm going to just move it over to the side, and I'm going to line it up with the cut. Now, I find it's really helpful, again, to use a little bit of washi tape to hold the die in place. Now, you may want to try this a couple of times just to make sure that you know exactly how it cuts. I can assure you, once you've done it a couple of times, it's super easy to line it up. But you'll see, I'm just lining the die up with the cut, and now I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine again. So let's do this. All right, there you go. So let's remove the die and watch this, you guys. Is that cool or what? I've got a whole piece of 12-inch paper that I can use on a scrapbook page. Now this will look really great as a border on a page, or maybe I want to use it on a home decor project that's kind of big and wrap it around it. And you might be wondering a little bit about how these pieces of notebook paper look when it comes to use them. So here's a little card where I made a border using this die, using the torn spiral edge die, and then I just stamped a sentiment on it. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, so there you have it. Thanks for tuning in today, you guys. Be sure to check out TechniqueTuesday.com. We have more than 30 great steel dies available and hundreds of clear stamps. Plus, we've got terrific paper crafting and scrapbooking ideas for you.